Hi everyone, this is video number 2. Hopefully by this point you've done quite a few problems on worksheet number 1 to practice the techniques I have taught you. Now this is the same thing except that the numbers become a little bit more difficult. So remember from the first video I told you to always turn it into a number sentence so that way you understand what we are doing with these problems. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My number sentence is already, my word sentence is already up. Please forgive me. So it says, how many groups of 4 are in 276? So remember that the words how many immediately should tell you that we're talking about division. So it says, how many groups of 4 are in, oh, there's that magic word, are in 276. Remember, after the word in, we're going to go ahead and put a box around this number in order for us to get the clue on how to write the numerical expression. So now I know that the 4 in my sentence has no box or anything, and that my number 276 does. So that's the guy or the number that's going to go inside the division symbol. Once you do that, your second step, remember, is that you are always working with place value. Anytime you're doing numbers or anything, we have to go back to the place value system. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and see that this is my 100th place, my 10th place, and this is my 1st place. And if you remember from the last videos, this is going to help us to try to figure out this problem. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it, and I'm going to go ahead and rewrite 4 divided into 276. So now that I've rewritten the problem, remember I'm going to use the place value system in order to see how many 4s goes into 276. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my 4, which I got from here, with the 100 from the place value system in my first digit. And I'm going to go ahead and place 4 times 100. And when I multiply that, I notice that it's 400. Since it's 400, I've gone over the number that was given to me, which is 276. So I know that in my first place value, I'm going to go ahead and mark an X. I'm going to continue the pattern, and I'm going to go and multiply the 4 by 10s because that's my second place value system or number. So I'm going to go ahead and write 4 times 10. And I'm going to get 40. Well, you notice that 40 is way too small. So I'm going to continue to multiply by factors of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 4 times 20, always stay in the tens place, and I'm going to get 80. Too small still. 4 times 30 is 120. Closer, but not close enough. I'm going to continue and multiply 4 times 40. We're getting closer, 160. 4 times 50 is 200. Oh, we're getting way closer now. And I'm going to multiply 4 times 60, and I notice that I get 240. Pretty close. To double check, I'm going to go one more time, and I'm going to multiply 4 times 70, and I notice that that's 280. I've gone over. So then I know that my top answer, which is 4 times 60, is the one that's going to go in my 10th place. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 6 here. Not the 0, just the 6. And now I know that 6 times 4 is going to give me 240. I'm going to subtract just like I usually do. Borrowing from, or not, I don't have to borrow, forgive me. 7 minus 4 is 36. Now I'm going to continue the process, but this time I'm on the ones place. So I'm going to be using not hundreds, not tens, but I'm going to be using ones. So I notice that 4 times 1 equals 4. Well, that's too small. I need to get as close as I can to 36. So then I'm going to continue to multiply by factors of 1, which is now 4 times 2 is 8. And I'm noticing that they're way too small. So these little dots means I'm going to keep going by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since I'm running out of room, I'm skipping all that and I'm going straight to 4 times 9, which is 36. And that's the number I want. So in my ones place, I'm going to write the 9. I know that 9 times 4 is 36 because I already did that problem here. I'm going to subtract it. And now my remainder is 0. So now I know that I can answer my questions. How many groups of 4 are in 276? There are 69 groups of 4 in 276 with nothing left over. No parts are left over. This is the way we want you to do the second worksheet. So let's go ahead and do the second problem in level 2 problems. Now, this one is way longer than the ones we've been doing. And in 6th grade, you have to get very good at dividing numbers that have 2 digits by a lot of digits inside. So this problem states how many groups of 12 are in 12,468. We want to follow exactly the same rules. So let's go ahead and start by writing our place value system. We want to see this in your worksheets or any work that you do with long division. And I want to start to my right this time because it's easier when I'm working with my place value system. I know this is the ones. I know this is the tens. This is 100. Everything's going by tens. This is 1,000. And this one is 10,000. Remember, those are the guys that are going to help us to figure out our multiplication that we're going to do here. So let me rewrite the problem. So let's go get ahead and get started. So if you notice, I've already written the divisor here, which is 12. That came from here. Now using the place value system, I'm going to go ahead and find what goes in the next one, which is this. So I'm going to go ahead and go 12 times 10,000 because that's our 10,000 place value system. So now when I multiply 12 times 10,000, all I have to do is go 12 and add the zeros. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I notice that when I add that, it is quite a big amount. It's 120,000. We've gone beyond the 12,000 that we wanted. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and write our x in that first place value. So now our next job is to go ahead, grab the divisor again, and multiply it by our second place value, which is 1,000. Same concept. We're going to go ahead and write the 12 and now add 3 zeros. And if you notice, in this case, it does not go over, so we can actually use this multiplication fact to start our division problem. So we're going to go ahead and above the 1,000 place value, we're going to write a 1. That comes from here, 12 times the 1,000th place, which is equal to 12,000. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract. Now that I'm done, I go back and I check, well, now what do I have to multiply my divisor by? Keep the pattern. We started 10,000, 1,000. So our next one is 100. So when we multiply 12 times 100, we notice that it's equal to 1,200. Well, we've gone beyond what we needed, which is 468. So believe it or not, we can draw a second x there. But in mathematics, we don't do that. We actually say, nope, it doesn't go in there. It has to be a 0 in that place value. So we're going to go ahead and say it's a 0 because we cannot use the 100 place value to find a number that can go evenly or into 468. So then we use the next place value, which is 10, to try to find that number. So again, same pattern. Here's my divisor. But instead of 100 now, I'm going to use 10. And I notice that 12 times 10 is 120. I like those numbers. Now I can see that I'm going to be using this place value because these numbers are in that family right there of hundreds. But I notice that I can go a little bit higher. So remember, we're going to go by factors of 10. So here we go. 12 times 20. And it's 240. We're getting closer. 12 times 30. So 12 times 30 is 360. We're getting there. 12 times 40. 480. Oh, that's when I freeze and I notice, wait a second, I just found him. It's this guy right here. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my division problem. I'm going to write a 3 in the 10th place because 3 times 10 is equal to 30, which is what I got here. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract 360 from what was remaining from the top. I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 108. Now my last place value is this 1. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my divisor again. And now I'm going to multiply by factors of 1. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. And remember, the dots means that I'm going to keep going. 12 times 3, 12 times 4, 12 times 5, 12 times 6, 12 times 8, and so on. But since I ran out of room, I'm going to go straight and write 12 times 9. And when I write 12 times 9, that's when I discover it, which is 108. So I'm going in the ones place, I'm going to write the 9 because that's this guy right here. I'm going to subtract 108 from it, and I'm going to get 0. So my answer is 1039. So there are 1039 groups of 12 in 12,468. Now it's your turn to not only do this in your examples, but to show and prove your work using the place value system. Then you can verify that this works. Remember to also write your sentence. Thanks.